morning. My name is Lieutenant Alvaro Fiola with the Florida Highway Patrol Public Affairs Officer at Troop L Palm Beach. On the evening of November 23rd of 2018, the Florida Highway Patrol responded to a three-vehicle crash on southbound 25th Street at Midway Railway, where 5 people lost their lives. Florida Highway Patrol would like to express our deepest condolences to the families and friends of the 5 people that lost their lives. The Florida Highway Patrol Traffic Homicide investigators responded to the scene and began the collection of evidence and through a complete investigation of the facts and circumstances surrounding this horrific event. The nature of an investigation of this magnitude is by definition complex and involved. There will simply be no shortcuts. It is understandable that the families of the victims and members of the community want immediate action. But to take any action prematurely will only serve to jeopardize the search for the truth and ultimately the justice in this matter. This is an active and ongoing investigation. Therefore, it will be improper to disclose any details regarding the investigative activities engaged in this moment by the Florida Highway Patrol. However, the community can rest assured that at the conclusion of this process, there will be no questions that every investigative avenue will have been aggressively and exhaustively explored by the Florida Highway Patrol. The final investigation in total will be subject to full light of day and will be open for the public investigation once it's complete. The Florida Highway Patrol would like to ask the public if anyone has any investigation or any information in this matter to please call the Florida Highway Patrol. Star 347 or star FHP, and they can call the dispatchers from there. Are there any questions that are open to the media?
At this point in the investigation, I know it's still, as you mentioned, complex and evolving. Can you state that if any charges are pending at this time with the driver of the one car that crashed into the pickup truck?
Once the investigation is concluded and we send it up to the state attorney, if any fouls or charges will be filed, yes. But like I said earlier, the investigation will take time. We want to make sure that we follow all the leads and collect all the evidence. And then we'll present that to the state attorney, and then if files and charges will be filed, then we'll file the charges through the state attorney. Yes, sir.
Are there any specific charges? I know everything's still pending, investigation's ongoing, but are there specific charges that you're looking at?
Well, we look at everything at this point. You know, we collected the evidence on the scene. We had the vehicles. We will look at all the facts, all the evidence from the roadway, all the evidence on the vehicles. And once the investigation is completed, we'll determine which type of charges we'll file based on what we conclude our investigation.
What's most difficult in investigating a crash like this?
Well, I think just not only for me that I was at the scene or for all the other troopers involved, it's the horrific loss of life. We know as a community that it was horrible to be there, and obviously we understand what the families and friends are going through, but we do ask to please be patient, because an investigation of this magnitude, it takes time, and we can assure you that the Florida Highway Patrol will look at all the facts and evidence and make sure nothing gets taken care of. Yes, ma'am.
Do you have an estimate of how fast Mr. Dashner is traveling?
Not at this point, no, we don't.
Is there anything that you could share with us right now other than it's under investigation?
No, sir.
Why did you feel it was so important to, express to the public today just that everyone's speaking about this?
I think that a lot of times the community or people in general, maybe they don't understand the time that it takes for a proper investigation to be completed. A lot of times, we think that it might take a few days, but sometimes it takes months. And like I said earlier, especially when you got to look at all the evidence and you got to make sure that you do a proper investigation, not only for the families, for the community. So we as a Highway Patrol, we want to make sure that each and every case is looked into it, because we owe it to the people and the families and the people that passed away.
Is the driver out of the hospital?
Yes, he is.
What's going on with him being out of the hospital now and this part of the investigation?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear
With
you.
him being out of the hospital now, tell us what happens from here going forward now, and what's his role in the investigation?
Well, obviously, each driver, every driver is going to be part of the investigation, and the Florida Highway Patrol our homicide investigators will either, interview him or gather all the information. So that's pretty much, part of the investigation. He's part of the investigation.
Any preliminary tests that were conducted that night? Are they back yet?
Everything is under investigation at this point. Yeah.
Can you tell us what happened with that 14-year-old girl? How did she manage to survive?
Well, part of the investigation was determined that there was a sixth person in the vehicle, and luckily that person, the 14-year-old, was able to get out of the car. It's my understanding that a passing person or someone bystander was able to assist this young lady getting out of the car. We do not know who that person is at this time. We're looking into it, and if anyone of that person knows who it is, we'd like to talk to them. And luckily that she's alive.
You talked about the magnitude of this crash. Can you say if it's one of the worst that you've been investigating in the Fort Pierce area? And also, is there any type of counseling available for those paramedics and those first responders?
There is, and most of them for the families. I know that I was there on scene, and on the same day, our victims advocate was there with some family and friends that I believe they weren't at scene. So right away, the Florida Highway Patrol notified our victims advocate to be in contact only with them. Our main concern, obviously, is it's the people involved in the crash, the families and friends. So they were in contact on scene on the same night. So we did provide them with that information to them.
Once you wrap up your investigation, and if charges are filed, where does it go then?
From there, obviously, once our traffic homicide investigators find and determine what happened, then we send our complete investigation to the state attorney, and then the state attorney will go through it, and then we'll determine what type of charges to file, if any. So that's how any traffic homicide investigation works.
Are any of the vehicles in your custody at this time?
Yes, we do have possession of all the vehicles. That's also part of an investigation. They're in our secure lot, and those vehicles will be inspected and checked by our Florida Highway Patrol traffic homicide. That is also part of the investigation. That's why, like I said earlier, that you asked me the question, why I felt that it was important to make this press conference, because we want to make sure that the public and the family are aware that it's a complex investigation. There's a lot of vehicles involved, and it takes time, and we want to make sure we do the right investigation and a complete and thorough investigation.
Are there pieces of the puzzle missing that you're looking for people to come forward with?
Well, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, the person that helped us out, we would like to talk to. We'd like to contact that person that assisted the 14-year-old girl to get out of the vehicle. So
Where was she sitting in the vehicle compared to the other kids?
that I don't know. That's yeah.
Without describing the have you gotten any search warrants yet of any kind?
That's part of the investigation, and I cannot disclose that. I'm sorry.
How long will this investigation take?
Well, it all depends. Each investigation is different. I cannot give you a specific time because, like I said earlier, each and every investigation we take it seriously, and we want to make sure that we do the proper and correct investigation. So I do not have a time frame. It wouldn't be fair to say that time frame because each investigation is different. Anything else? Well, thank you so much for coming. Yes, sir.
Could we also ask you about the incident that happened this morning in Martin County with one of the troopers being hit on I-95? Can you kind of detail what happened there?
That's still being, as we speak right now, we have our investigators on scene, so it's kind of premature for me to mention that. We'll have a press release ready sometime later on today to send it to the media. So thank you so much for coming today. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you, ladies. Thank you, gentlemen.